Hey, sports fans, Louis Diamond in the Better Center studio with a nice live edition of Better Center. Today, we're going to talk college football. We got plenty of games on the slate. We're going to be joined by Anthony Nasor, Reno Sharp VIP from the Better Center board. Going to get you plenty of information in a short amount of time. Let's get right down to it. Let's talk about a couple little moves before we bring Tony to the table. The moves on today, we got UCLA and Hawaii. UCLA opens up 21.5, goes up to 24. So quick little move there. Oregon opens up at 10, steamed up to 14.5. Now back down to 11.5. That game lands in the middle. You got a bookie's nightmare right there. A lot of action both ways. There was a nice window there. So Army, Buffalo opens up total 49, bet up to 54. Definitely got some steam there. Late steam right now on Western Michigan, plus 6.5 now. Was plus 7.5 about an hour ago. And you got the overachieving Western Michigan Broncos with quality coaching against the underachieving Michigan State Spartans. So I could see the move in that game. Then we see a little bit of move with Duke. Goes from a pick'em, Northwestern, up to 3. Now down to 2.5. A little bit of steam there. Louisville, North Carolina opens up 61.5. Bet up as high as 66 right now. So a lot of steam on that game to the over. So we got plenty of steam happening here today. Baylor went from 16 down to 14.5 just recently. So we got a quick little steam move on Texas San Antonio. Total went from 16.5 down to 57 right now. But I'm kind of feeling a little bit of an over there. If Baylor can give up that many points last week, who knows what they're going to give up here this week. Same with UNLV, a couple teams that you want to look at, maybe take a shot with. They could be good over trains here this season. We'll see here again today. Take a small shot, gradually get through them. So there's some steam moves for you. But right now, what we're going to do is we're going to get ourselves joined with Anthony Nasor, Reno VIP, Reno Sharp VIP from the Better Center board. And Anthony, welcome to Better Center.
Thank you. I'm having a good time this morning, hanging out with you guys. Sounds like you guys got everything ready.
We're getting ready for a big football season. Lots of good information. Thanks to guys like you out there documenting your plays every day. So bottom line is, Anthony, a lot of guys are out there talking a lot of talk. And we're both guys talking a lot of talk, but we're not afraid to back it up with our plays. If you go to the Better Center board, plays are documented every day, and we're here to talk about them. And let's talk about what you got going today. What's happening?
We've got a couple of home underdogs cooking early. We've got Duke facing Northwestern. Yeah. And we've got Iowa State and Iowa.
Okay.
We like the points in both of those games.
Okay. Iowa State, Iowa. I'll give you my little take on it real quick. It's been a long history with this team. Iowa State, as an underdog, has been phenomenal in this series, phenomenal as a road underdog. And I'm not just talking a few years. I'm talking 30 years of solid covering against Iowa. Usually they're a lot bigger of an underdog. And today, not quite the big underdog, but you're still looking for the outright win, aren't you?
We're looking for the outright win. Yeah, the points are good. The money line's a really good option too.
All right. So so what gives you guys going in on Iowa State here today? What are you seeing?
What we see is a little bit of overvalue with Iowa. It's early in the season, but it takes an elite team to get road chalk. And this chalk is not elite road chalk. It's very small number. It's always a good idea to take the small number short home dogs. And in this case right here, we do believe that Iowa State is the call because Iowa is not ready to lay road chalk this early in the season. They're probably not even conditioned well enough to go out there and pick up the win. The number itself, when you look at it, is a number that's a high conversion rate for an underdog. And the fact that they're at home as well makes it a really good, nice, and neat play.
Okay. Now, Iowa right now is up to 3.5 in a lot of spots. I see a 3 minus $1.18 at Bet Online. I see 3 minus $1.15 at Pinnacle. But everybody else is pretty much a 3.5. The game opened up at 3. So a touch of steam on the Iowa, but Pinnacle, they're not afraid. It looks like you're on the Pinnacle lean right there with Iowa State as well. And I kind of believe in the Iowa State team. I'm just not. I'm not seeing it as big as a play as you guys, but I see it as the side. So now you have Northwestern and Duke game. You're also on that game. You're calling a little bit of a dog there. A little bit of steam on Northwestern. Game opens up at a pick, goes to 3. But now I am seeing mostly, actually 2. Actually, it's a chop, 2 and 2.5. Pretty much across the board. So, what do you see?
Yeah, it's one of those type of scenarios, more of the same as with Iowa and Iowa State. Duke is a really explosive team, and they're very well coached. Northwestern last week failed miserably for us as a favorite at home, but we've turned our back on them. We're going the other way this week. I do believe that, again, elite teams are teams that should be giving road chalk. Northwestern is not an elite team. The number itself is a short number. It tells you right away to look at the home dog and the points, because this number at 2.5 is not a good favorite number in any scenario. All right. And that's what you do. We buy numbers.
Looking for the value, looking for the best price, and
yes.
and sometimes value is pretty damn expensive, because what good is value if you wind up with the losing ticket? But that's the narrow, short-minded look at things. Gamblers have to look at things in the long term. If you're playing value, you're playing long term, and that's what the syndicates really do. They're looking to find the value. There's a number. That number has a certain price, and you bet that number until the number's gone. And it's we're in a world, computers, bots against bots, and whoever's got the best computer programmer is the one that makes the money now.
Yeah, when we started off doing this, there were no computers involved. You just had to know the best numbers, best betting numbers, the numbers. You had to know when a team is coming off of a big win. Lots of deals like that. We also had to deal with having the San Francisco Examiner in the evening, looking at that and balancing the number against the one that came out in the morning edition. It was a much different world. But these computers now, they've got it down to a science. Really Everything is really tight.
Yes, they really do. Like I said, you look at these books, Pinnacle or Bookmaker or Five Dimes, any of these offshore sports books, or even Cantor here in Las Vegas, these guys they have a value for every single team. That point spread is now, pretty much guided by mathematicians, not just guys looking at points for versus points against. Most people don't even know that's the start of the point spread. Points for against, points against in the venues, and you'll get the point spread and you get the total with that, and then it's the intricacies, the small little things that make the adjustments that the programmers see. So it's robot against robot up at the top levels, and then it kind of drips down to us after that.
Yeah, we've got to find value wherever we can find it, and there's a little bit on the board today. There's another game that we were taking a look at, the big game, and it's always a good idea to take a look at the big games, because those are the games where the public is way on the wrong side.
Usually.
We've liked this Ohio State-Oklahoma game. We've been looking at it for a while, and I'm really starting to like the chalk in that one in Ohio State at home. I do believe that Oklahoma State may be in over their heads when they get out there to Buckeye country.
Oklahoma, yes, I definitely, I kind of agree with you a little bit there. I have a tough time. I'm not sure what Ohio State really is going to bring to the table this year. They were setting the world on fire, and then, I went through 3 years of just betting them in the first quarter at home every week that they were
Oh
home
yeah.
blindly, and they just tore it up. But they're not having that quite right now. So, and so I'm just being a little reluctant with them. But I think you might get into a high-scoring event over here today. I think that over might be a play there. So
Yeah, that's a good idea.
yeah. So
That's a good idea.
now on the Better Center board, okay, I'm looking at the board right now. You're a small little number into the negative column, but you got 210 picks in there. You got 4 in the hopper here today. I know you don't want to give them all away, but you did say you were working on those 2. And what was the lean there with the Ohio? You think Ohio State's definitely the play there?
I think Ohio State is the play there. When you look at the pedigree of the coaches, we've got one guy that's never really been involved in one of these types of games, and we've got a guy that's been basically coaching these type of games where seemingly is all of his life at this point.
Right.
I do believe that Urban Meyer is an expert game planner. I think that that's going to come into effect today, and I think they're going to win this one going away.
All right. All right. So there you have it. And Ohio State is -7, opened up at 5.5, so they definitely got a little bit of steam. The total is pretty much 64, been there all week, and we just threw Anthony on his side. But all right, so there you have it. Anthony, thank you very much for joining us here on Better Center. We're looking forward to getting you again here real soon, see what's happening maybe tomorrow in the NFL. And we'll see what Tony Gullidge will be able to bring to us to the table, what he did for us last week. Brought us some great information. And so that is pretty much, what do we got? We got about 10 minutes before the games start, or 20 minutes before the games start. Charlotte, Kansas State has just got a little bit of a steam. 36.5 down to as low as 33.5. On Charlotte. One thing about Kansas State, I'm laying the points when they're going when they're laying double digits. Bill Snyder is a coach that tries very hard to win for his alumni. He's done a fantastic job of trying to cover the spread whenever he's had that opportunity. Now, as an underdog, yes, they're somewhat of a decent play, but what you really want to do is you want to find them in a favorite role where you know they're supposed to dominate a game. Snyder likes to cover the spread. And there was a time when you could take 2 teams, Texas Tech and Kansas State. And I'm talking for 25 years straight, not a small thing, 25 years straight. If you bet those 2 teams every single Saturday that they played, you could count on these 2 hands how many times those 2 teams did not cover on the same day. Crazy stuff that you need to look at, but you only get that by experience, such as things like Navy, road underdog, greatest road underdog in the history of college football. This is not a small trend. This is a team that's gone 70% on the road for the last 30 years against the spread. Why? And why, oh, it's a different teams, different coaches, blah, blah, blah. No, it's a team that doesn't get to go party on the road. They're focused. Things that you need to look at, guys. These are the things that we can bring to the table for you here at Better Center. Hope to see you here again tomorrow, where we'll be coming to you live from New Era Field in Buffalo, New York, Orchard Park, New York, for a little tailgating with Big Rick from the Better Center board, live in the parking lot right before the Bills-Jets home opener. We'll see you here tomorrow, 1 hour before kickoff, 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 o'clock Eastern time, to get you 1 hour's worth of NFL live on Better Center Live. This is Louis Diamond. I'll see you again tomorrow.